Assalamu alaikum wa marhaba. Welcome everybody. My name is Shamma al-Bastaki, your host for the evening. I'm a student at Harvard University and a graduate of NYU Abu Dhabi. We are gathered here today at the Reach Center within the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. in celebration of the UAE's Golden Jubilee, its 50th anniversary, truly a remarkable occasion to celebrate. And we have an amazing lineup of festivities and programmings for you tonight, and we can't wait to have you engage us in this experience.
UAE's 50th anniversary is a remarkable milestone because not only is the United Arab Emirates 50 years old, but it also kind of highlights how much effort and how much achievement the UAE has done in only 5 decades. And today we also celebrate 50 years of our bilateral relations with the United States. The Kennedy Center also celebrates 50 years. And so it's just a remarkable year to celebrate the anniversaries of everyone, including the UAE.
So right here to my left, we have a photography exhibit that showcases a deep and personal relationship between the UAE and the US over the past 50 years.
My name is Michelle Bambling. I'm curator of the exhibition UAE-US 50 Years in Partnership. And this is a celebration of 50 years of wonderful partnership between the two nations. And what's very unique and very special about this exhibition is that it was curated in conjunction of the two countries together. And in fact, we all worked together in the selection of the photographs. The exhibition itself consists of 50 photographs divided by 5 decades, 10 photographs per section.
This is a historic moment for my country, and I couldn't be more proud to be working at the Embassy of the United Arab Emirates in Washington, D.C., one of our most important embassies around the world, and being able to showcase our culture to a U.S. audience today. And it's the first time that we've actually worked with a U.S. embassy in Abu Dhabi to put together an exhibition. So it's an exhibition that spans 5 decades, and we focused on 5 themes. We are really looking forward to continuing to showcase the similarities that exist between our two countries and, celebrating the next 50 years.
And the Justice Forum right behind me is the 50 Years, 50 Faces exhibition, which captures the deep and personal history between the UAE and the US as told by Emiratis and Americans who share personal anecdotes and narratives that reflect this deep relationship.
50 Years, 50 Faces is a dynamic storytelling campaign produced by the UAE Embassy in Washington, D.C. It's about stories of people from different parts of the world, Americans, Emiratis, and UAE residents who witnessed the relationship between the UAE and the US. This campaign is about personal moments of 50 different stories, showing the friendship between Emiratis and Americans.
The Skylight Pavilion, about to welcome His Excellency Ambassador Yusuf Al-Otaiba, the UAE Ambassador to the United States, to deliver his welcoming remarks.
Good evening, and welcome to the UAE National Day celebration. My name is Deborah Rutter, and I'm the president of the Kennedy Center, and I'm thrilled to welcome you here to the Kennedy Center and to the Reach. I am absolutely thrilled that the embassy chose to celebrate their 50th anniversary of the UAE here in the Skylight Pavilion of the Reach. And it's particularly appropriate because we here at the center are celebrating our 50th anniversary as well. So there's something going on 50 years ago. Very special indeed. Now, we at the center believe that we have the very most special relationship with the UAE, and with Ambassador Youssef Al Otaiba. My guess is everybody in the room thinks they have that very special relationship because that's what kind of people they are, the kind of community that they have built, the kind of communications and commitment to relationship. And so for that reason, I'm really thrilled to be able to welcome you all here and to welcome him as well. It is particularly fitting for us since the UAE has made such a demonstrative commitment to culture that this program is taking place in this space. And I thank the UAE and I thank our dear friend, Ambassador Youssef. I hope that is not inappropriate to say it that way, that you've chosen to celebrate this anniversary and this day here. So thank you very much. And please welcome our collective good friend who needs no introduction, Ambassador Youssef Al Otaiba.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to our 50th birthday party. It's true, as soon as I saw Deborah tonight, I reminded her that a few months before this place opened, we were on a tour. We're taking a look, and it was still under construction. And I think it was at that point that the idea to have our anniversary here was seeded. And I said, this would make a great place for a National Day event. And here we are, I think about 4 years later. Congratulations. First, let me do a quick round of thank yous. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to everybody in this room. We're in Washington. Everybody here has an important job. Everybody here is doing critically important things. Everybody's days are busy and hectic. And the fact that you all chose to be here with us tonight, to take time out of your very busy days, to celebrate this historic milestone for us, means a lot to us. So Abir and I would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts, because all of you could be doing something else right now. So thank you very much for being here. Second, to Deborah Rudder and the entire team at the Kennedy Center, you're right. The minute we walked into this place, this was a match made in heaven. There is no better place to celebrate our 50th birthday than with somebody else who's celebrating their 50th birthday. So thank you, and to your entire team for making this place available to us. And last but not least, the eternal unknown soldiers are the people who actually make these events happen. So to our entire team at the embassy, to all the staff, the diplomats, military officers, everybody that's here that has a part in putting this event together, thank you to all of you. Please raise your hands, take a bow, do something so people can acknowledge you. Let me take you guys on a short trip down memory lane. I'll keep it short. Back in 1971, a small place on the banks of the Potomac called the Kennedy Center opened its doors for the first time. In the spring of that year, NPR broadcast for the first time with coverage of the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations. Down in Orlando, people flocked to the grand opening of Walt Disney World. And an MIT graduate somewhere in his spare time sent the world's first email. And while all this activity was happening here in 1971, 7,000 miles away, a brand new country was born in the heart of the Arabian Gulf. 50 years ago, on December 2nd, leaders from independent Emirates gathered in Dubai and founded a sovereign country that ultimately became known as the United Arab Emirates. Today is a remarkable day for my country, and I am extremely honored to represent my country as an ambassador. I am so proud of everything that we have managed to accomplish in just 5 decades. And it's a very long list, and I am not in the business of giving long speeches, so what we'll do is we'll do a quick run through the greatest hits from just 2021. In 2021, the UAE became a major contributor to the global effort to produce and distribute COVID vaccines to the countries with the most vulnerable populations. And so far, we've provided vaccines and medical support to 135 different countries. In February, we became the first Arab country and the 5th nation ever to reach Mars. Just this last September, we marked the 1-year anniversary of the historic Abraham Accords. A month ago, Dubai Expo opened its doors for the first time and started welcoming millions and millions of visitors from every corner of the globe. We also doubled down on our strong advocacy for the global climate change agenda by launching new initiatives with the US and pledging to achieve net zero carbon emissions by 2050. I saw John Kerry here. I don't know if he's still here. If he is, a big thank you goes to him for everything he's been doing with us. He has been a fantastic partner and deserves just as much credit as all our guys for making all these things happen. And also on climate, the UAE was selected to host COP28, which happens in 2023. Also a big thank you to John Kerry. And in this coming January, next month, the UAE takes a seat on the UN Security Council. None of these achievements, none of these things I just described would have been possible without the man that we're honoring here tonight. Our founder, our father, His Highness Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan. He underscored the importance of unity, a necessity to provide a better life, to ensure stability and realize the hopes and aspirations of our people. He had the vision and the voice of modernism that would pave the way for our unprecedented development. But he also knew that the true asset of any advanced country was its people. He always stressed the importance of education and equality while staying true to Emirati traditions and values. He recognized the important role of women in advancing our society. He was a champion of gender equality, access to education and healthcare to men and to women, and this is back in the early 70s. Sheikh Zayed instilled values of tolerance and inclusion that remain a pillar of who we are today. From this vision, a nation was formed that embraces the traditions of others, while at the same time proudly holding on to its own. We are incredibly proud to be one of the most diverse countries in the world, home to over 200 nationalities and virtually every religion you can imagine. In fact, it was this diversity that was a catalyst for the historic visit of His Holiness Pope Francis back in 2019. The Pope's visit highlighted the ways that followers of the Abrahamic faith are united, not divided. This is reflected further by the Abrahamic Family House, which will open in Abu Dhabi next year. It will be home to a mosque, a synagogue, and a church. Sheikh Zayed's legacy of building consensus lives on through our values and interactions with the US and other members in the international community. And 50 years on, the UAE-US relationship has grown to become our most important one, with broad human, economic, cultural, and security dimensions. Take the Abraham Accords, for example. With US support, we accomplished something extraordinary that creates a path towards a more peaceful Middle East. I know he's not here, but my Israeli colleague was invited. I think he's on the way. And I think it's kind of cool for our 50th anniversary to be the same as the first time we welcome an Israeli ambassador to a UAE National Day event. And somewhere on the other side, US Ambassador Tom Nides will be attending UAE National Day in the first UAE Embassy in Tel Aviv. In a little over a year, people-to-people connections between Emiratis and Israelis are flourishing. And those connections have generated opportunities in trade, in technology, in culture, and in education. And just recently, Emirati, American, and Israeli officials met in Washington for a historic trilateral meeting to discuss ways to deepen that cooperation even more. Our shared outlook for the region and the world is critical to our efforts of securing peace and stability. The strong and lasting relationship that both our countries enjoy has evolved and strengthened throughout the years. We work together to combat climate change. We work together to improve the effectiveness and accessibility of vaccines. We work together to advance global food security. And we work together to explore space and advance our understanding of our planet and beyond. And in a time of unprecedented challenges and adversity, we must continue to collaborate on the most pressing issues of our time. COVID-19 was a wake-up call for all of us. And it really drove home the need for more cooperation, not less. And we've worked tirelessly with the international community to support the logistics and distribution of vaccines worldwide. And we continue to work closely with the US and international organizations to transport millions of doses from the UAE to places with the greatest need. Both of our countries continue to have an enormous stake in each other's economic well-being, in open trade and investment, and in a speedy global recovery. And over the last 50 years, we've become one of the largest international investors in the US, and we're also the biggest market in the region for US goods and services, and we're home to thousands of American companies. As we prepare to take our seat on the Security Council next month, it's another important opportunity for us to make a significant international contribution and to strengthen relationships with our partners and project our values on the global stage. In many ways, the courage associated with the Abraham Accords, the Emirates Mars mission, our efforts on COVID and climate, together they all represent the culmination of Sheikh Zayed's vision for the UAE's place in the world. These achievements taken together will be our guide star for the next 50 years. They represent our embrace of diversity, of global engagement, and of pursuit of knowledge. They represent who we are, and they have set the course for our next 50 years of progress. If you all thought the last 50 years were impressive, wait till you see the next 50 years. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight, and thank you.
Thank you all so much for watching and for joining us as we celebrated the UAE's 50th anniversary, its Golden Jubilee here in Washington, D.C. And we hope you enjoyed the festivities and have a wonderful night.